Welcome to the Sit Down presented by Visa. Kristian Jack alongside one of the nicest guys in Canadian soccer, Sam Adekugbe. Great to see you, my friend.
Nice seeing you.
First of all, let's start with how you doing. How's health?
Yeah, I'm good. I feel good, obviously. This was a good start to the season and an unfortunate injury, but I'm happy to be back healthy again.
Back in full training?
Yeah.
Exciting. Against what is a massive opponent on Thursday night. Let's start there. What's the mood around the club and how are you feeling to welcome into Miami for this Champions Cup semi-final?
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time. It's an important game, a semi-final, and it's two good teams who will start off the year very well. And of course, when you're playing against Inter Miami, you want to enjoy the occasion, but I guess more so when it's an important game that we have to play.
The buzz around the city is already, vibrant, not just because it's Inter Miami and Messi obviously plays a huge part, but because of the size of the game. You've known this club for a long time. What does it mean to you to have the Whitecaps playing a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably one of the biggest games in club history. I think there's no secret about that. The sold-out stadium, the players that are coming into town, probably the most talked about team in Major League Soccer, and it's a game that we're very looking forward to. We want to showcase ourselves. We've had a strong start to the year, and I can't imagine a better game than to win against Miami.
What a run it's been. It's not just been the victories or the draws or the goals. It's been the manner in which the team has done it. It seems like an incredibly together group. The camaraderie is leading to the success on the field. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's also a credit to the coach. He's come in, obviously, hit the ground running, and the players have brought on board what he's planned out for us. But I also say that the group's been around together for quite some time now. I think the last game, I heard the commentator say that Ranko and Tristan have played almost 100 games together. And you've seen Pedro's been here for a couple of years, Kubas has been here for a couple of years. A lot of important players that have been a big part of what the team has done recently has been here for some time now. And I think it's no secret now that we're seeing the team doing really well and obviously playing and firing in all cylinders.
And that makes a big difference in terms of what is noticed on the field. You mentioned the coach there. How much of a role has he played in that, in taking on what you've said and then improving it?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously come on board and brought in a different mind to the game, and it's also to give credit to what Vanny has done in the last couple of seasons. He's obviously brought us on this path, and Jesper's now taking over this path, and we're seeing the fruitions of it come now. But like I said in the interview before, obviously we're doing really well in the beginning of the season, but it's more important to be where we are right now at the end of the season rather than the beginning of the season.
What are Jesper's strengths when you get to work with him every day? What do you like about him as a coach?
I think he has a clear process. I think every meeting is the same. We look at what we need to improve on, and we always go over the things that we want to keep improving on. And I think it's clear the plan that how we want to play, the style. I think when we watch the Vancouver Whitecaps is a very clear profile for how we want to play as a team. We're a team that wants to have the ball. We're aggressive with our play. We're aggressive with our defending, and like I said, we're seeing the fruits of it come to pass this early in the season, and we're all happy right now.
I love the smile, and one of the reasons why I said you're one of the best guys to talk to is because you've always got that smile on your face. But you have also suffered a lot in your life and in your career, and yet you've always had that smile on your face. I want to talk to you a little bit about perseverance, if that's okay. And obviously, right now, not playing a lot over the last few weeks. How do you compartmentalize that and keep that positive attitude when you want to be on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I think just watching the team play, it makes you want to work harder to get back there. Me and Ryan Gold, we were talking one of the games recently that we feel like cheerleaders or backup dancers because we're just itching to be a part of it, and we're so happy for the group, but we know that we're important players for the team, and we just work as hard as we can to get back fit. But like I said, yeah, it's obviously been tough times, but there's no better way to get through tough times than to have a smile on your face.
Very well said. You mentioned the word important there. In one of my notebooks over there, I've got a quote from Jesse Marsh that says, Sam Adekugbe is a very, very important player for us. And I know you haven't had time to show him that yet for lots of different reasons, but when you hear that, what does that make you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, it gives me confidence. It gives me the motivation to keep doing what I'm doing. And I look forward to being a part of the national team. It obviously hasn't been the easiest time since Jesse's taken over, but those are things that are outside of my control, and the fact that I'm still around the group but maybe not playing just shows that he wants me to be a part of it. And I think last year was obviously a hard year for me to kind of get going in all cylinders. I think people know that I'm dynamic and I'm athletic, but it was obviously with the injuries last year, it was hard to get up to that style of play. And that's something that Jesse Marsch demands from his players. You know, we talk about the intensity and the relentlessness, and it was difficult for me to get to that peak last year. But, you know, coming into this season, I felt really good. I feel really healthy. Obviously, it was an unfortunate situation that occurred, but now coming back fit again, I plan to kick off where I started.
I mean, you're just a huge part of the playing staff, no doubt. Do you get reminders consistently from people about the iconic images from the World Cup campaign? I'm thinking obviously about the snowbank, but I'm also thinking about the Haaland celebration in Hamilton. Like, how often does that come up in conversations with people?
I hear it a lot, maybe a bit too often.
I was going to say, is it snowbank or is it the Haaland?
Yeah, it's definitely both. But you know, in the back of my mind, I always think, you know, this is a couple years ago now. I want to be remembered for what I'm doing now and what I haven't done a couple years ago. And you know, when I hear people talk about it, it also just puts in the back of my mind that I need to get back to where I can be.
Yeah, that's very fair. You talk about what you remembered for. I want to take you back to the emotional interview that you and Atiba did after the earthquake, if you don't mind, because that really set a long way with me. You know, I'm getting a little bit emotional myself talking to you about this, because for you to front up in the way that you did that with the Red Cross, I'm not asking you to talk about your emotions and feelings and memories from that moment, because I know how difficult it would have been. But how important was it for you in that moment of tragedy to try and give back and do as much as you could?
Yeah, it was obviously like a tough moment, and like I always have a hard time like talking about it, but I don't mind speaking about it now. But it was important for me to try and give back as much as I can, because like I'm very blessed and fortunate to still be alive, and not just be alive, but also everything I brought with me to Turkey, I was able to bring back with me, you know. And a lot of people that went to Turkey didn't come back. A lot of people lost everything. Mm-hmm. One of my closest friends just bought an apartment. He lost his apartment. He lost all his belongings. And, you know, my dog Charlie, I brought back with me from Turkey, you know. So I'm very fortunate to be able to look around and see how much people have suffered, but know that, you know, I lost a lot, but I still have a lot of what I came there with, you know, my family, portraits, things of that nature. So, you know, I almost felt like it was the only thing I could do to help was to give back and raise awareness. And I was really fortunate because someone like Atiba, who was like a big brother to me, a mentor, my captain, you know, he really took me in. He partnered with me, and you know, like if Atiba wasn't there in that moment, it would have been a lot more difficult for me. So I always think that if it wasn't for Atiba, I don't know how I would have coped. My family could have come, but I didn't want my family to come because just of all the turmoil that was going inside the country. It wouldn't have been fair for them. And I'm so thankful for Atiba for just standing beside me, and not just him, but his wife, his kids, his boys, obviously now his little girl that he had. And I've always let him know how thankful I am, but I think it's very important on camera to also let him know that I'm very thankful.
I really appreciate that answer. You mentioned family. Whenever I've been around your brother, your parents, you guys just radiant the spirit. And you mentioned you've all got that smile on your face. What does family mean to you, and what does Canada mean to you and your family that has obviously become not just your second home, your first home?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. I mean, not just for my family's sake, but you know, this is where I realized my dream, which is to be a professional footballer. My brother realized his dream as well. My family emigrated when I was in grade 5, and it's a country that we now, like when people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm from Canada. Obviously, then I'm born in England, but it's a country that I love so much. It's a country that means the world to me, and I'm just fortunate to obviously, you know, be a Canadian citizen.
Yeah, we're fortunate you are as well. Have you allowed yourself to think, living here in Vancouver, playing at BC Place, what it's going to be like to host World Cup games in that stadium for Canada, and you being involved in that? Have you thought about that?
Oh, most definitely. I think that's on a lot of players' mind, not just me in Vancouver, but I can imagine the Toronto guys as well. And it's obviously a goal that's clear for me and a lot of players, and things that we aim for. But I can't imagine my family being by my side, watching me at BC Place, not just at club football, but international football as well.
It's a blessing, know that Jesse Marsch and your team are playing so well. It's not just going to be, on the outside, it certainly doesn't seem to be just a team that's hosting the games. They want to do well, and there's a real need now? I know you've not played a lot lately, but you're close to that team, that there's something that substantial could happen here.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think we saw snippets of that during Copa America. I think a lot of people were surprised, but I think, the group weren't surprised because we know our quality. Obviously we maybe let ourselves down during the World Cup, but we still are a good team with the players that we have playing abroad, the likes of Alfonso, the likes of Estaquiel, Kone, Jonathan David, and also players that are strong players in that Major League Soccer, like Richie, also Ali. So I think we have a great group. We have great quality players, and we have a dynamism, we have an athleticism that Jesse's preached about, and the fact that we're able to now showcase ourselves on the world stage lets it be known that we have a real chance of doing something special in 26.
26, big stage, Thursday night, big stage, Messi, Suarez, Miami in town. The club deserves that moment, though the city feels like it deserves the moment, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's going to be a massive game, and with a hopefully sold out stadium in an important game. I mean, this is why you play football. It's not just to play against some of the best players who have played this game, but it's also to play against some of the best players who have played this game in some of the most important games in your life. And lucky I've had some experiences in playing in the World Cup and in qualification, but now having this opportunity to play with Vancouver Whitecaps in a very important semifinal and a chance to go to a final, it means the world to me. And I think it speaks volumes to how well this club has done over the last recent years with winning the Canadian Championship and being consistently in the playoffs. And I think now we're starting to see the steps that we are taking in a better direction to now actually be in semifinals, be consistently in Canadian Cup finals, and now make an even better statement by beating the best team in Major League Soccer.
Very well said. Listen, this conversation's been awesome. Thank you so much. We're better for having you. The Whitecaps are better for having you, and Canada's better for having you as well. Thanks for joining me on the Sit Down, brought to you by Visa. Appreciate you, pal.
Thank you very much.